Hey gang, I'm Will.
And Chase is who I am, and welcome back to That's Just WAC. Now, today we are moving forward with our Marklocke. We are on episode 3, starting here in Burbank City. We are going to take our team, head off to Castelia City, and try and get the gym badge in this episode. Now, looking at our team, that should not be too terribly difficult a task to accomplish. As we review our team, we've got Iron Lung, the Magnemite, Quiet Nature, so that boosted special attacks doing us quite a few favors. Rocking out with Thunder Wave, Magnet Bomb, Thundershock, and Sonic Boom, our hard carry in the most recent gym battle.
Sonic Boom, the best Sonic game and TV show.
If you like Sonic games, let us know in the comments. We might play one. Superstars came out. I heard that it's really laggy.
A lot of games came out recently this past Friday.
That's true.
Big gaming win for gamers everywhere.
Next we have Warfstash, that beautiful super luck ability. As soon as we get to Castelia, we're getting that scope lens. We are putting it on him. Air Cutter, Air Slash. This is going to be great. Lowered special attack nature, not ideal. But we'll still make it work. Then we've got, nope, that's the wrong direction. We've got Celine, our Sawaddle. Up defense nature, lowered special attack, swarm, so we can always rely on bug bite if we get on low health. Razor leaf, string shot, bug bite, return. Also equipped with the Petch Berry because we just fought the poison gym. And then finally our starter, Damien. Lowered attack up speed means that we're going to have to be working out with some special moves later on here, but we can make it all work.
I hate this chicken.
Blaze as expected for any non-randomized starter. So, let's get the team set up. First thing we're going to have to do is we are going to get our butts on over to Pokestar Studios.
Yay!
And we're going to get to do one whole movie. And because we're not trying to do a lot of editing for this, because it takes a long time to get from one gym to another, there might just be a point or two when we do just a little bit of... Well, skip could work. I was thinking... just move a little bit faster than the game normally allows for, just a touch.
Are you cheating?
Well. Okay, so if you guys just saw the months jump by there, that could give you a little bit of an indication on a few things.
We walked through a tunnel and it went 9 months. A child was born in the time that we walked through that tunnel.
So, yeah, it has been a little bit since we filmed the first and second episodes of this series. As of right now, you know, the channel's actually live and there are videos you can watch.
No,
but
this is the second day.
Yeah, this is the second day. We recorded just a couple days ago and 3 months passed in a couple days.
Yeah, it's not currently football season. It's not currently the worst time of the year for some people and the best time of the year for other people.
Absolutely. It's certainly not, you know...
How about
October. It's definitely July when we filmed the first 2 videos.
Taylor Swift has not driven the cost of NFL tickets up by 40% since we started.
Is that real? 40%?
There were headlines about it. I didn't research too far into it because I didn't care enough. Because it was about Taylor Swift. But
it's not like either of us are buying NFL tickets anytime soon.
But I would believe that I could see that easily happening. I know that jersey prices certainly went up because of it.
I guess I could see that.
People wanting Travis Kelce jerseys or custom jerseys with his number and Swift on the back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that could be a decent Halloween costume. You wear his jersey and then just be like, I'm one of Taylor Swift's forgettable boyfriends.
I was about to say, but it could be, before you said that, I thought you were going to say Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but I was about to say it could be easily irrelevant next year.
No, the idea is just you go as someone who's very famous and you reduce them down to, I'm one of Taylor Swift's boyfriends. Actually, that could be a really fun group costume. Just be a bunch of different...
That could be a fun video. Tier listing her boyfriends.
What would we be tier listing them on? How well they're dating? Just in general. Just in general.
In general.
I can understand that. That'd be fine enough to do. Anyways, we've almost finished watching a movie. So, yay. Our good friend...
I legitimately remember getting to this point as a child and putting the game down because I did not like the movie portion and saying, I'm going to come back to this later.
Honestly understandable. I was a very different type of kid. When I first looked at this, I started to realize what exactly was going on, looking at the difference between the movie that the boat captain, Roxy's dad, who we just saw, did, and ours, and seeing how, like, dialogue choices affected what moves the enemy would use, and how there's, like, a puzzle for each battle.
Oh, yeah, it's super
And suddenly it was, like, super cool. It's like, oh,
But
this isn't like, oh, here's the best way to win it.
But as
it's
a child...
Sure.
As a child, that's not interesting to me.
It's understandable to have not been interested when you were a kid. I was just a weird kid.
I want to evolve. At the time, I was like, I want to evolve this cute pig into the big man pig and ruin everyone's day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I played Pokemon as a child. That's how I kind of play Pokemon as today.
Fair. I definitely spent quite a few repeat playthroughs grinding out PokeStar Studios because you can get some useful items, stuff you can sell, stuff for healing, and because like each one is a puzzle in its own right. And it's like, okay, how do I get the weird ending on number 4 of the Invader species, or in the Invader series, because that one was like the one that could grant you the most money if you did it really well. So, or at least that's what I saw. Bring it on, I say. Haha, my dark arts, enter.
Have we ever thought about the implications of the skull diaper?
That's a heart.
It's a skull.
I mean, it's an egg.
Turn it up. It's a skull.
Okay, it is kind of, yeah, it's kind of a skull. Editor, zoom in on Volby right there. That's a skull.
Yeah.
Flip them upside down.
Have we thought about the implications of skull diaper? Also, great name for a band, Skull Diaper.
I probably would not listen. That sounds like it'd be a horrible experience. I feel like Skull Diaper is the kind of band that Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Loaded Diaper.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Diaper. Oh my gosh.
It was Loaded Diaper. Because Roderick rules.
Okay, well, we have finished our first movie, and as much as I want to not watch it and keep moving on, we were required to do it, so I am actually going to go watch it, because if you do the movie correctly, this guy right here, that backpacker is not there. He'll be there after we watch the movie. Does give you, I think, 5 lemonades, and those could be quite handy for just a little bit of extra healing. Now, I'm not going to debate Nuzlocke rules on spending the time grinding out PokeStar Studios to get a near infinite amount of healing items. And of course, our rule set includes that we are using healing items in battle, but we're trying not to be excessive about it. But just 5 lemonades, not that much of a problem. We could buy that in Castelia City super easy.
My personal philosophy of Pokemon is that I don't quite do Nuzlocke, but I say if you're weak for my team, even if you have a good type, you're off the team.
I mean, that's pretty fair.
3 strikes and you're out. If you get knocked out 3 times, you're off the team. Unless you are Skeledirge in that whole evolutionary line, because we all love the chonky boys.
So you pick Skeledirge for your Scarlet Violet playthrough?
Yeah.
I am one of those people who looked at the sort of swagger Quaxley had going on, and I was like,
got disappointed by it.
I did a little, unfortunately. I saw what Meowscarada was, and not for the furry bait that it is, but just the cool magic trickster, and then the flower trick that always crits. It was a good setup for a Pokemon. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. But what I'm not disappointed in is that on my team, I got to have Ceruledge.
True.
And that was the win for me, because that's still my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon.
I think mine is... I think Baxcalibur.
Honestly, fair. Baxcalibur was on my team.
I would say Ceruledge, Baxcalibur, and Palafin are probably my 3 favorites.
Yeah. I totally missed that Palafin was the thing, because I had a water type on my team.
Palafin was he was only water type, but once you got the combo of put him in first, bring him back out immediately, then throw him back in later, it was a good setup.
Were you smart enough to be running flip turn on him?
Yeah.
Nice.
I would get in there. If I would make sure I got his speed up very, very high, so that he would go first.
Wait, do I have something with Cut on the team? How did I get this Silk Scarf?
And then you throw him in, he does a turn, you get him out.
Okay, hold on. This is an important question now that we do have access to cut. And something else I'll be bring up again about our rule set. Part of the rules for the Marklocke, and we're a good 9 minutes into the video, great time to be reintroducing the rules. We can only use Pokemon that Mark would smash in his initial Smash or Pass video. Now, I'm going to stop the slowdown now that we're actually caught up and doing important things. Are we allowed to catch an HM friend who Mark would not smash for the sake of not having to put cuts on someone on our actual team? Because we can always forget cut later, but it's not ideal to have around if it can be avoided. I'm going to go Razor Leaf for the crit chance here.
I don't envision Mark doing that, if that makes sense.
I can see that.
Although he could... He might do it, but I think it should be someone, even though it may not be as HM friend as like a Bidoof, for instance, but someone who can get a lot of them from the Smash list. So if there's someone on there who is in this generation that can get a lot of HMs, I think yeah.
Okay.
But if it's like there's literally none, then we have to stick to the rules.
Sure.
And if it bites us later, it bites us later because we're definitely not masochist in this run.
Speaking of masochist, I think I have an idea for the... Oh, see, there's cut. I was thinking we had
You can't look at a man and say, speaking of masochist, I have an idea, and stop mid-sentence.
Well, I'm just thinking, we catch one new team member this episode, and I think I have an idea for the name for it, based upon what the Pokemon is. I don't want to put cut on anyone on our team right now, because it's actually a pretty good, well-put-together team, and I'm pretty sure the only one who could learn it anyway is Celine.
Probably.
And right now, Return should be doing more than double the power, because I think it should be at max happiness. I'll check and see if Combuskin can get it, but I don't think it might be able to. But even then, I don't want Combuskin to have it either. Yeah, only Celine. And luckily, we don't need cut to progress. It's just one or two useful items we can get. So I'm going to pass it for now.
Who are we aiming to catch?
So, next encounters we can get... There's Castelia Sewers, which has Rattata, Zubat, and Coughing. None of them Mark would smash.
Nope.
So it's another dead encounter area. And be prepared, this will happen a lot. This is a crazy set of rules to apply to a Nuzlocke that there are just going to be way too many areas we just can't get anything.
And we can grind the heck out of it up to a certain point. However, we can't catch.
Right.
Which, in a way, kind of relaxing to just say, this area is where I literally just grind and grind and grind for a little bit instead of just grind, wait for a catch.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it, gotta do it again.
Coming back after this long, I forgot that we did not fully level up our team. So we have mons that are sitting around 15, 16, when we could have gone up to, I believe, 18 for the gym.
Yeah.
So we might need to do a little bit of that
We should consider doing
before
some
Bugsy.
grinding.
But luckily enough, when we get to Bugsy, or before we get to Bugsy, we can actually get to the Castelia Garden in this game. And Castelia Garden has Audino.
I forgot our rival's name.
Cram. I also had forgotten. But because we'll have access to Audino, it should be hopefully a bit faster to grind that way.
Yeah.
So that should speed things up if we can have an actually properly leveled team. I do need to confirm. I want to say his ace is 23. And because we're using level caps for this game, we don't want to go beyond that. So I need to confirm because it's either 22. It's 22 to 24. So we don't want to get past that. So we can't.
Let me research. This is totally unprofessional, but the editor can cut out the unprofessionalism or keep it in.
I feel like he has to keep it in. That's what you get for throwing your phone off screen and not keeping it around.
I'm sorry, my phone was blowing up. So what did you need to look up?
Bugsy, Black and White 2.
Bugsy.
His ace is Levani, but I don't remember if it's 22, 23, or 24.
White 2. Did I spell that right? Nope, I put a Z in there, not an S.
Bugsy.
Bugsy. Hey, I think it's infinitely cooler spelling.
I mean, cooler, sure. Corrector. Maybe not. Alright, it's time for the classic I'm on a boat joke.
Nice.
And that's where that's going to stop. Let's stay monetized, YouTube.
Unlike some YouTubers recently who dox their critics.
Cool.
Speaking of critics, you're technically a critic. You should like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us your thoughts and critiques in the comments down below. We won't dox you.
That's true. I don't care what you say. It's not going to happen. I straight up don't know your IP address.
We may cry in the shower later about it, but we won't dox you.
You might cry in the shower, but I'm going to cry at work because if boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I cry on company time.
Never. I don't think I've ever worked a job where that was said or thought.
All right, we are here in Castelia.
Maybe I'm just lucky.
So I mentioned the sewers. We can't get anything. We could go up to Route 4, which has Scraggy, Darumaka, Sandile, some other stuff. No encounters. At least nothing we can get in the dirt. There is something we can get on Route 4, though. Actually, that'd be a great time to talk about the fact that there are 2 things we can get on Route 4.
Okay,
As in, as we get, his aces?
Bugsy. Is this right?
I said Bugsy. I meant Berg. Bugsy is in Johto. This is not Johto.
Yeah, I was wondering why he only had... Okay, Berg.
Yeah, he does not have a Scyther, a Kakuna, and a Metapod. I saw that and I was like, what are you looking at? Is this some ROM hack?
Okay.
It's like, why is that on the official Cerebi.com? Okay, I'm going to take a look at our item stock. How are we doing on Pokeballs and such?
Okay, it looks like...
8 Great Balls, too.
According to this...
I'm not going to buy any Super Potions because
his ace is a level 23 Levani.
23?
23.
Okay. Cool, I did have that right.
This is according to Project-Nuzlocke dex.fandom.com.
Okay, well, thank you, Project Nuzlocke. Okay, so...
I would go to IGN, but their mobile UI is garbage.
Fun times.
It is the worst.
Now, there's a whole bunch to do and see in Castelia City, and I will go around exploring it soon. There is one area where you actually can fight a whole bunch of different trainers, but I'd like to get our next encounter first, so I'm going to start working on that. Which means going over here and talking to the gym guide. Now, about Route 4. There is one thing that we're definitely going to want to get, and that is the static Thursday only Mandibuzz with its hidden ability. It'll be level 25, hanging out in the desert, and it's got weak armor, which is not great for a Mandibuzz. Honestly, worse ability than it normally has, because weak armor lowers your defense when you get hit in exchange for raising your speed. And Mandibuzz is bulky and not very fast, so you're probably not going to outspeed things after that.
No.
But it is the only thing we can legitimately get on Route 4.
Okay.
But there is a trade you can do on Route 4. And we're playing Pokemon Black 2. Now, if we were playing White 2, we could get an encounter in the gardens. You could get Patilil, because Markwood smashed Lilligant. However, we're playing Black 2, which means we don't get Patilil. We get Cottonee. And Whimsicott was not smashed. But, in light of that, there's a trade on Route 4, where you can trade Cottonee for Patilil and Black 2, and vice versa in White 2. The question is, will our rule set allow us to do that trade? First of all, is it even allowed to do an in-game trade? Because this is rules that definitely vary. A lot of Nuzlockers will allow it, but I think we have to ask, would Mark allow it?
I think at the same time, when we think about it, Mark, while being a masochist, we think about that. We say, oh, he wouldn't allow it, right? But Mark's also...
He does a lot of collabs. He works with other people.
Yeah, he does a lot of collabs.
I'm not going to leave with Celine in here because what they have are poison and normal types, and one of them is a Zubat, and I do not need to get one shot by wing attack, so we don't need Iron Lung for
He also likes to be kitted out and be strong. You know? So I think we'll allow it.
Okay.
Because he likes to be strong.
Sure. All right, in that case, so now that's also on Route 4. The other question we have to ask is, does that count as a Route 4 encounter, or can we count it for Castelia Garden, where we catch the Cottonee? because it's basically taking an encounter in Castelia Garden and shifting it to be a different mon. If it counts as Route 4, we only get one of it or Mandibuzz.
I think because it's so early game and we need more Pokemon, we'll count it so we can get both.
Cool.
You know,
I think that's fair because legitimately the number of total encounters we're going to end up getting in this game is like less than 20.
It's very few.
Mark had a whole bunch he would smash, but we are working in a Gen 5 game, and more than half of his smashes came from Gen 7 or later.
Right.
If you've seen the
However, if you
MatPat theory, you know why he wanted those Gen 7 mons.
However, if you want us to upgrade and do a more updated version, you should subscribe and share with your friends or family.
Leave a comment. Let us know. I feel like we're doing a lot of pushing this episode.
Well, we may do some cutting, so we don't know if we don't know, you know, if we're doing a not very interesting part and we talk about liking, commenting, and subscribing. It may get cut because the video, the screen recording is not interesting.
I can imagine our editor shaking his head right now like, no, these don't get cut. These just exist in their own form.
You need to push.
Who said that?
Did you just see those subtitles show up below us?
No.
Okay.
I heard it.
Oh, you're hearing things now. That's cool.
I hear everything.
Great.
What you do in the bathroom at 3 in the morning? I hear that.
I'm generally asleep at 3 in the morning, so I don't know what you're hearing, but it isn't me.
Well, I was talking to the viewer.
Oh, okay. That's even worse. Too many encounters down here. Okay, so Castelia Garden, Cottony that gets traded for a Patillo, which is legal to use. Now, unfortunately, we won't be able to change its name, so it'll just be stuck with whatever that thing's trade given name is, so that's fun.
That is disgusting.
And then we'll get the Mandibuzz on Route 4, which will mean we need to actually do filming for that next episode on a Thursday. So, check your calendar. And then what we are about to get, like I said, nothing in the sewers, no random encounters on Route 4, but we've got that settled. What we are going to be able to get is this upcoming cave. And luckily, it's a case of the thing we're able to get in there is not Twisted Spoon. This will be helpful for an encounter we can get in the next episode.
Another great band name, Twisted Spoon.
Okay, now I'm going to lead... You know what? I probably should lead Wharfstash here. I don't remember what they have, but Wharfstash definitely needs to level up before we get to the next gym.
True.
Because they will be one of our 2 hard carries. I mean, the gym is bug type, and 2 of the Pokemon on the team are bug grass, which makes them both quad weak to fire and flying. This gym is basically free for us. And so the other random trainers we need to be a bit more cautious of, so keep our eyes open for what's going on in here. But this cave is going to be where we can get our next encounter, the only one we can actually use before the gym. So, okay, Scraggy Sandile. I picked a good choice going with Wharfstash here. Sandile can't hit us with Mud Slap or whatever ground moves it has, and Air Cutter hits both Pokemon. Do what? Cleaves through the Sandile, super easy, and we probably can't take out Scraggy in one hit. Surprisingly bulky. Yeah, can't even 2-shot it. Feint Attack, don't do more than half. More than I'd like, but I'm quite certain that with a Razor Shell coming in from Do-What, we've got this thing finished off. Easy. Okay. Cool, that is these 2 Plasma Grunts down. Once we get our next team member, we'll be doing the giant walkabout of Castelia City because there's a lot to do there and a lot of optional battles we can do for some training. Much better than grinding on wild Pokemon. Whoa, who's this nerd?
This is an editor note. As after Chase says, grinding on wild Pokemon, it put the Rock Vine Boom eyebrow raise.
I'm pretty sure this is Bugsy, right? Whoa, who's this nerd? 2 in a row, got him.
Did we talk about in the last video how we would model our Pokemon gyms if we were gym leaders?
I don't know. Maybe.
I know we've briefly discussed it off camera in candid conversation, but I can't remember if we discussed it last or video prior.
I'd tell you it'd be really funny if we did, and then we just had the conversation again.
Or we've totally changed in the past day that we filmed.
Right, because it's only been 1 day since the last
Right.
episode. Ooh, focus energy, scary. I mean, well, we want to have that conversation? What we would be as gym leaders? Scary, so scary. Quick attack. Got him. Roasted.
And how you would model your gym.
Oh, like the gym puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because most gyms have, up until Gen 8, most gyms had some sort of gym puzzle. Gen 8 is where that kind of became more of just like a do this relatively easy herding of sheep thing and go fight the gym.
I mean, it's like a unique task.
Yeah.
And they weren't all the same, which
No.
I guess is appreciated.
Like,
All right.
You had the quiz, which...
Welcome to Relic Passage. Here we will get another brand new encounter. And try and avoid any trainers while we can along the way. Do I have the dowsing machine? I think there's some hidden items in here I can get. No, wrong direction. Nope, no dowsing machine. Okay, cool.
Rip.
That said, I know where some of these hidden items are. Like, right here. But do you have an idea right off the top of your head for what you would do for your gym puzzle, your gym... whatever?
I mean, when I think about it, I'm a very cultured man. Like, I have a lot of feet in a lot of different
Okay, first encounter.
puddles, you know what I mean?
That is not a Pokemon Mark would smash.
No.
Not a legal encounter.
No.
Oh, I'm going to switch, because if this thing outspeeds me and hits me with an air cutter, I am dead. I'm just going to have to take it out with Iron Lung.
It's like, you know, I have a lot of things I'm interested in that could easily be, like, part of the gym puzzle, right?
Sure.
But then it kind of comes down to what type of trainer I would be.
Right.
And-
Your gym puzzle's kind of got to tie into
Right.
the type you are.
And my favorite type of Pokemon, while they are few and far between, is Dragon. I mean,
Dragon...
nope.
Yeah.
Stop. Just stop. Dragon Pokemon. I do really like most of the Dragon types. However, I've never gotten my favorite type combo, which would be for it's at least been on my team, which would be a Fire Dragon.
The encounter I can get here might have Rock Throw.
Interesting.
I don't want to lead with something weak to Rock Throw. As much as it would resist its stab, I'd rather have something that can... I guess... No, Ember should be fine. It's going to be about on level with us, which is scary. We should not be on level with the wild Pokemon. You were saying about...
I think I've always longed for the day when we get a Pokemon generation where we do get Dragon as a secondary type for a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know, because of how powerful dragons tend to be, I know it would be a very busted starter, and you would need the other two to be also pretty heckin' powerful.
Do you think... I feel like that could be a good... I don't know how much they want to change up about Pokemon from generation to generation, but given we're moving into Gen 10, now would be a good time for them to twist
Something like that.
something that's been consistent. Do you think it would be cool to see, like, okay, cool, here's the starters. Grass Dragon, Fire Dragon, Water Dragon.
I would really like that, actually, because that means they would all...
They'd all
would deal good damage.
Dragon
against
super
each other.
effective against each other.
Yeah.
Which would mean that the grass good against water wouldn't matter as much because it gets neutralized. So all of them are just dragons battling it out.
It would balance it out perfectly. Plus, you can give them each different... This is going to sound weird. Of different styles, if that makes sense.
Kind of makes sense.
The Fire Dragon would one of them would get more...
There's our encounter!
One of them would get more physical fighting type moves, if that makes sense, in their move pool. One of them more of a special attacker, stuff like that.
This thing is higher level than us. This thing is going to come in higher level than our starter.
Nice.
That is insane. Okay, 13 damage. We can take that
what
again
call,
on a hit.
That's what we call making an impression.
This thing, I don't remember if it gets guts, but if it gets guts and we burn it, I think it kills us on a crit. So I think I'm just going to throw a Pokeball. And I mean, Timber's not that hard to catch. So, newest addition to the team, Conkeldurr got a smash, so we are able to use this all the way up until it is a Conkeldurr.
Oh, we caught it.
And one of the best things about some minor changes we made to the game, we won't have to trade to evolve it. It'll evolve, I think, around level 37. So, fair and balanced. Now, it's our second fighting type on the team, but fighting type generally does pretty well in this game. We've got an upcoming battle against Clay, who uses an Excadrill. Against the Flying Gym, won't help out that much. There's no Ice Gym in this game, tragic. But Conkeldurr's just a good mon, and it should help us out a lot against Grimsley, one of the Elite Four.
Anyway, you were talking about naming this Pokemon.
I think this thing, given how it's clearly straining itself with whatever it's carrying, the veins popping out, I just want to call this thing Masochist.
Oh, see, I was thinking we'd call it Alex.
Okay. The reasoning for Alex?
Do you remember Alex?
I don't.
He was their like fitness guy they would go to for
from Redacted.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
And he was confirmed to like after they met him to like be training Mark just like for general lifestyle for a little bit.
Okay. I'm down to do that. I mean, Timber is literally just a guy. Yeah. So I'm down with giving him just a guy name.
what a set of
I mean, to be fair, we also have Celine and Damien, which are also just guy names, just with a bit more lore attached to them. All right, let's take a look at Alex, see what we are working with. How good did we get? Timid, garbage, lowered attack nature. It does have guts. That is really good for us.
Yeah.
Now,
I would say that balances out from being timid.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. If we had the attack boosting nature and guts, that would be cool, but guts, for those of you who aren't big Nuzlockers, or for those of you who are and just want to hear somebody who knows less than I let on talk about it. Guts, when you are suffering from an attack, from a status problem, so burn, poison, or paralyzed, your attack goes up by 1.5. Timid nature, or natures in general, take a stat and raise it by 10% and lower one by 10%. Meaning, no, that's the wrong stairs. Meaning that guts boost is more than an offset for the timid nature. But it does require that we are statused in some way.
Yeah.
So that is going to mean that for any battles we really want to use it in and have it play its best role possible, we're going to have to get pre-statused. Which is a bit harder in this game than it is in like your Kanto and Johto games where you can just run into a wild Weedle, have it use Poison Sting 17 times, and then poison you. So it'll be a bit harder for us to find a way to do that. Now, Poison's probably going to be our best bet because it's going to take health away at about 1/16th, I think, every turn. Maybe 1/8. Burn does more, I know that much. And then Paralyze could just take away our turn if we don't break through paralysis. So we're definitely going to want to get that going for when it matters, and absolutely for the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Gym battles where it's going to matter could be really helpful against Elisa. Clay almost guaranteed because of... this is our best counter for that Excadrill right now. Because it's got Rock Slide, which is good against our flying and bug types. It's got ground moves, which are good against our other two. But I think a Girder, I think that's our answer for that Excadrill.
We're talking about Water Dragon, Fire Dragon, Grass Dragon.
Yep, let's get back on that track.
Trio. I just don't know what type of region that would go in.
That's fair.
Because your main thought would be, put it in like the English high medieval fantasy one, but we've already done that.
Right. Galar was our England, UK inspired region.
Yeah.
All right, let's lead Damien because we need more experience on him than anyone else right now.
Unless I just don't know some sort of... The only thing I could see would be weird. We kind of a niche. A very stereotypical Viking-inspired region. Because they had a lot of dragon imagery.
Doing something Norse would be pretty cool.
Plus the water dragon can be inspired by the dragon boats.
Yeah.
Have a shield and motif on it.
That could be pretty cool.
I just don't know what all they would do with that, because they'd probably have some sort of pseudo legendary based on maybe even a pseudo legendary trio based on
trio. That would be insane.
Most
we've ever gotten is 2.
Based on Thor, Loki, and Odin.
I was thinking just legendaries would be absolutely Greek god inspired or Norse god inspired if you were going to do a Norse region. We kept getting pulled away from the initial topic of gym design.
Yeah.
You were talking dragon.
I think I would be.
Yeah, I'm not participating in that metal rally.
I think I would probably like to be. I would like to be a dragon gym leader.
I mean, that's allowed. There are quite a few dragon gym leaders, so.
I do love the idea of just. It's a Pokemon gym entirely based on just being a strong battler, and I just happen to be a dragon gym leader, you know. Kinda
So like Raihan's a dragon gym leader,
correct,
but his gym setup is similar in scope.
Yeah.
And then he rolls up and he's like, "Okay, cool. Face my dragon team in a sandstorm."
Yeah.
And it's like, where did that come from?
and like the other gym leaders wouldn't necessarily be dragon gym leaders. They would have like a dragon on their team for sure. That's part of the requirements. But they would also just be really unique, strong battlers. Like one of them would probably be more of a special attacker, be like the ace special attacker.
So kind of like what they had set up for Norman's gym in Gen 3,
Yeah.
where there was the speed room, the accuracy room.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I could see that working out well for a like very standard kind of gym setup.
Yeah. Now the other one is that it's entirely based on Dungeons and Dragons. It's all based on role play.
Like the move or the ability roleplay in Pokemon?
It's based on the idea of tabletop role-playing games.
Concept? How would that function in terms of game mechanics?
I think it would come down to like, oh, we have 4 gym trainers based on the 4 archetypes of the original D&D. You know, your wizard,
Cleric, warrior, thief.
Yeah. And so, like, the warrior obviously is going to have more, like, physical type.
High attack stat Pokemon.
Right. The wizard is going to be more special attack, special defense.
Rogue using, like, status moves, that sort of thing.
And being very speedy to get in and out.
And then Cleric with, like, higher HP, probably equipped with, like, leftovers and stuff to make them just harder to take out.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Then here I come, the Dungeon Master.
And you get to use, like, one of each.
With a little bit of everything.
Not bad, not bad.
That's what I think I would
Hand
go
Sage,
with that.
easy cleanup. Got Bug Bite on the ready.
I think that's what I would probably end up rocking out with.
Fair enough. Now, don't think it's much secret for anyone who knows me. Oranberry, ching. My favorite Pokemon type is Ghost. So for a Ghost gym, they've had some cool Ghost gym designs. Gen 2's Morty had the room that darkens as you defeat the trainers, and you have to remember the path.
That was I really liked that.
Which was very akin to what they did with Brawly's gym in Emerald, which Brawly would have just copied.
Yeah.
But I'm remembering, like, I guess the path, the room got lighter with Brawly, so it was kind of the inverse. But then you had in Oras, when you had to step on a button, see the path, and then either walk past a trainer and then go do the path, or head backwards.
I think just my brain thinking real quick for a Ghost gym.
Double kick, 230 hits, 90 power. If return is at max, it'll do more.
Like a haunted house.
Yeah.
Like a Halloween haunted house.
So that's what I was going to say, is that a lot of the other ghosts, Chantal, Phoebe, they're Elite Four, Agatha.
Oh, what if the big puzzle mechanic, hear me out, was like Dampy, or I can't remember his exact, from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, the Gravekeeper.
Yeah, where you race him around, and he's so fast. So you having to get to each room is you have to follow a ghost. And then when you ask the gym leader, it's like, is that a real ghost? No one really knows.
Fantina's gym also played with the darkness. There were shapes you had to find on the floor. Then you have the Diamond Pearl version with the math puzzle, which was not a good gym puzzle.
Am I misremembering, or did Sun and Moon have a...
the abandoned Mega Mart.
Yes. Where you had to
trial
fight,
against Mimikyu.
Where you had to fight the different versions of Mimikyu and Haunter.
Right. It's like, snap a picture, what's haunted here.
Yeah.
Now fight the ghost that's haunting it.
I really like that one. I know a lot of people didn't vibe with the Sun and Moon
just
not being gyms. But I like that one in particular.
And that's probably what I would want to go for most with a ghost gym. Is it's like there's something going on here. It's spooky, it's a little scary, and then you turn around and then the Mimikyu's there and it kind of jump scares you a little.
You reference some classic Halloween things of like the Ghostbusters, Jack Skellington. We're going to get real basic. We're going to reference Jack Skellington up in here.
Hey, I'm basic. That's my favorite Halloween movie. I'll say it.
My favorite Halloween movie is Halloween, the original.
Yeah. You're just going for the naming recognition. But no, I think something.
Movie.
I think something with like horror movie references would be really cool. I don't know how you would incorporate that into a game. You could make it.
I think a lot of your gym trainers would have to be kind of dressed in outfits inspired by them. So if we're going to reference like a Freddy Krueger, you can't have your trainer with a burnt melted face. So instead, they wear like the green and red striped sweater with the hat, and it's like, oh, I get it.
But you don't want to go too much on the pop culture references.
That's true. Plus, with this would be made by a Japanese company, so there could be some things that they reference that we just don't understand.
Now they do tend to do a good job of
making
doing their research and not picking things that are rest TM. Got it.
Baxcalibur, he's based on Godzilla. Everyone knows Godzilla. It's not a exclusive to their country thing.
So yeah, what I would say is, as much as horror movie references would be cool, it would be difficult to pull off in a way that's fair to people playing the games. So I think something akin to like a haunted house where, it's abandoned Megamart style. You have some options in front of you, and you have to figure out which one of them is the haunted one or the non-haunted one. And if you pick one of the haunted ones, that's when the trainer jumps out, and you have to fight a trainer. If you pick the non-haunted one, you get to move by without fighting a trainer.
And maybe for picking the haunted one, there is some sort of penalty for...
and then there was Rhymes Gym, which was very strange for a ghost gym.
I was just thinking about this. You could,
you can't fight the dancers in this game. I wanted to get the amulet coin.
Oh well.
Forget where you get it.
How sometimes they'll hype up gym leaders before you meet them with like maybe posters in the city in the background. Your sprite could be outlined like Alfred Hitchcock was outlined before a lot of his movies came on TV. That's a little subtle thing that people who know Alfred Hitchcock be like, oh, I see what we're doing here.
Could be interesting.
Everyone else is just an interesting looking poster for your gym leader.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking, figure out which thing's haunted. Maybe you get some information about the object rather than like seeing if it moves or shakes, because that'd just be ridiculously easy.
I think a gym based on movies would also be very fun.
I mean, it would be cool if you're actually a big enough film buff for it. There we go, got a tract. Might actually put that on a good Pokemon.
I think if I was an electric type trainer, I'd probably have a movie inspired gym because I do like the cinema.
Now, we've had the trash can puzzle. We've had the turning gears Volkner's gym. That one was kind of cool. Watson's electric barriers, decent enough.
Yeah.
I kind of ironically like the Charge-a-Bug puzzle in Sun and Moon, where you have to line them up to create a circuit.
It was annoying the first time I played it, but I found it. Looking back, it is a very unique one.
But man, they really decided what's modern day electric type streamer. I don't know, it was fun. Just doing the streaming content. Now playing the game of find Mr. Walksabout. Kind of lame choice for doing a streamer thing,
I didn't like that.
But the concept for the gym leader was one of the better well done ones. It's like, electric type. That makes sense.
If you're looking for a good representation of what streamers can be, and maybe the more annoying side of streamers,
hold on. Is this guy? There we go. There's the amulet coin in this game.
If you know, you know. You don't know. Insomniac Spider-Man does a great job of referencing what the annoying / toxic side of a streamer can be. There's a whole series of side quests and side missions where you have to do challenges from a streamer, and her fans are people who broke out of prison. So you have to fight her audience of all adult male fans who are from prison. Yeah. And then she is just very annoying because you'll get almost perfect score, and she'll pop in and be like, that was kind of not Pog. You're lame," and then leave.
Please tell me they actually say Pog in the game.
That's the summary of what she says. I'm not sure if when they were making the game, if Pog was a popular term yet.
Darn.
Because this came out in 2018, so she would have.
You'll have to let me know if this streamer appears again in Spider-Man 2, and if they actually give us a full Poggers.
I hope not. In the DLC, we sent her to prison.
Oh, man.
So I'm pretty sure unless she breaks out again.
I mean, you never know, right?
You do never know.
Eviolite.
Speaking of Spider-Man 2, I'm about 20. According to the little progress when you open the.
Pause. Remind me. Soon. This guy, scientist, I need to come back as soon as I've seen 40 Pokemon. He's got the Eviolite, which is invaluable for our team.
Okay.
Defense booster. Could be so good, especially. Oh my gosh, we're going to need that for Girder when we fight Excadrill.
Anyway, currently playing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a whole lot because I don't like spoiling people who haven't had a chance to play it yet. But I'm about 30% of the way through the main story. It's wild. If you've played and you know that it's wild. Very good game. I do think it will come down to it. I do believe if it releases in time. I do think it's a Game of the Year contender. Because as I'm playing through it, I'm like, Tears of the Kingdom is another one. Everyone's like, Game of the Year contender right here. Everywhere that Tears of the Kingdom, or there's things that Tears of the Kingdom did so well that Spider-Man 2 doesn't do as well. But then flip that, things Tears of the Kingdom didn't do as well that Spider-Man 2 does incredibly well. Referencing the past game in like just passing lines, Spider-Man 2 wins that. They referenced all the events of Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales in the first like couple missions. Open world, Tears of the Kingdom wins open world hands down.
I mean, they set this game up as like, hey, look at the Sky Island, and that was a cool 1/5 of the game.
It's true.
And then there was the depths, and they never told us about that in the trailers.
It's true.
But it was just as big as the overworld, and that was just an insane thing to just not tell us about.
Yeah.
Before it happened.
So far, story, there's just been so much more in Spider-Man 2.
I mean,
compared to Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, or most Zelda games for that matter.
The Breath saga is very intentionally
gamer heavy,
quiet with the story. It's there in the background for you to choose to explore, but it doesn't force it on you.
Yeah, it's interesting being a PlayStation and Switch player because both companies and consoles do things so differently. Like the PlayStation, a lot of games are all about accessibility, making sure everyone can enjoy the game.
No, my mom's our ground type.
If you can't hear well, subtitles. They can be altered to be big, small, not there at all. If you don't like puzzles in games that aren't puzzle heavy, so they're not the best puzzles, you can just turn on the skip puzzle option.
Kind of wild.
Yeah. If you like to as for Spider-Man 2, if you like to amp up your realism, you can turn on fall damage.
Huh.
If you want to just
probably
keep it
very easy to die.
Yeah. If you want to just keep it just fun and easy, turn off fall damage. It's pretty simple and clean.
All right, just got the experience share. That is cool and good. Which Pokemon did we choose at the start of our journey? I think I get a Miracle Seed in Castelia Garden, so I don't want to pick that. I don't remember how long. Well, I say that, but I don't have a water type.
Oh.
None of those were anything we did pick. But we already have a Charcoal, and she's going to give us Miracle Seed, Charcoal, or Mystic Water. And I'm just going to pick the one that's actually helpful for us. Like a cheater. We're going to get that on Celine, and we'll move the amulet coin over to someone else for the sake of making more money.
So ready to go beat this gym.
We got a fair amount of training to do before then. It should actually get to the point where we actually have our own Levani if things work out accordingly, because our Swaddle should evolve at 22, and then Swadloon should evolve immediately if its friendship is high enough, which typically when I've played this game, it will be. And given we've not let it faint at all, it shouldn't be any worse. So we talked about what we would do for setup for the gym, but what about Pokemon on your team?
What about Pokemon on my team?
Switch.
Let me tell you, as a dragon guy, I know people either love or hate this Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Garchomp. Garchomp's my boy.
Are you starting off with your ace, or just he'd be on the team?
I think I don't want to copy Cynthia and have that be my ace.
Okay.
So I feel like I would have a good bite, as an early throw out, if that makes sense. Not quite a Garchomp, but a pretty high enough level to be like,
yeah,
this is intimidating.
I mean, if a Garchomp's on the team, it's hard for it not to be the ace,
Exactly.
right? So doesn't matter if your team's levels 55.
Yeah.
If it's fully evolved, it's a Garchomp, and that's powerful.
So I think I'd have a good bite just to like throw it out early, maybe.
Switch.
Growlithe, I love you.
They really are leading with Pokemon that I don't want Celine to have fight.
So I think
Taking the Intimidate though, that's handy.
I think my ace, even though he's so new, I love him. I love me a Baxcalibur.
Yeah, dude.
It's such a good typing. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Really unique moves as well.
And you'd be rolling up with something that is going to be better than your usual dragon against other dragons.
Exactly.
So if trainers come into your gym trying to counter you with dragon types, you can say, well, cool, here's my ace.
You're right.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Hit him with the Glaive Rush and win.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, Dragon's just so hard to not have any of them be the ace, as you think of well-known dragon types. They're either legendaries, pseudo-legendary, or just to the point of, like, they should technically probably be your pseudo-legendary with how strong they are.
Right.
So that's
great example, Haxorus. It's not a pseudo-legend, but a lot of people forget that because it's just so good.
And I'd probably have a Haxorus on my team because I love me a Haxorus.
It's a good mon. So there's like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Is that what you're limiting your team to, or
no? Is this gym that I've set up in my brain that I've
you always want to be the like 8th or 7th or 8th gym leader, right?
Yeah.
You never want to make the team for like, what would I be if I was the first gym leader? Because then you're just not having as many Pokemon on the team.
Exactly. Although it is an interesting video I've seen a couple of times. It's a totally rabbit hole. Flip-flopping.
Gym leaders?
Yeah.
Like,
so
what would it be if they were the first gym leader, or what would they be if they were the final, if they're the first?
Exactly. So what if Raihan was the first gym, that's an interesting... I've seen that video a couple of times, like, with different gyms, and I'm always intrigued by just the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just... It's hard to think of a well-rounded dragon team that's not all just absolute aces that will destroy...
I mean, that's true.
And make people rage online about it.
This gym is unfair. Mr. Krabs is in there. Let's see. Knowing that,
I am going to pull up a list of dragon Pokemon so I can...
I'll let you run through that then before I start talking about what my team would be. No gym leader ever uses 6 so I'll have to limit myself a little bit. But I've got a pretty good idea of at least like 3, 4 that would definitely be on that team. There's all your pure type dragons.
Yeah, I'd probably have at least one pure type dragon.
You could do a lot with like a couple of
Haxorus is a pure type.
You could do a lot with like dragons that are pseudo-legends but not fully evolved.
Yeah.
So you could do a lot with a Dragonair and a Sliggoo and a Hakamo'o.
Right.
Rather than the fully evolved versions.
Yeah, so I'd definitely, like I said, have a good bite. He'd be one of the ones that gets thrown out early.
Yeah. Be a real Raihan and have him use Sandstorm, set up the sand.
Pull out something from the Dreepy Dracloak and Dragapult line.
That's one that we would share if both of us existed in this game. Because I'm pretty sure one of those would end up on my team.
I think I'd probably go Dragapult.
I don't care if you have huge power. You can't kill me with one rollout.
Baxcalibur.
And I got Miracle Seed.
Baxcalibur, that's my ace right there.
Bro, defense curl.
It'd
Easy barrel.
It'd be really funny to have Tatsugiri. Because as like one of the ones that gets thrown out a little bit earlier, because people see it and they're like, oh, it's just a Tatsugiri. And then it comes out, bam. I don't know which form, though.
You want Springy? You want Droopy? You want the other one? Forget what the other one is.
Oh, I was trying to remember if he was a dragon. Tyrantrum is one of my top. It probably in my top 10 Pokemon of all time.
Scoplins.
Noivern. I love me a Noivern, Noibat.
True.
They are really good. So
this team's got like 8 Pokemon at this point.
I think we're gonna start it off. My team would start with a Gabite. Then we'd probably throw out a Tatsugiri. Let's go curly form. There's 2. And then maybe to get a bit more physical with it, Hakamo'o.
Yeah.
You know, because that's
fighting types are great.
It's and it's also not quite a Kamo'o.
Right.
So, a bit lower in.
And we know Baxcalibur is your ace.
Baxcalibur is the ace.
So there's 4,
yeah.
And no gym leader I think has ever had 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And in the first run through of the game.
Yeah, and I'd probably my 5th would probably be. How would it be? Oh, is it Tyrantrum or is it Noivern? This is a toughie.
Make a call.
I'd probably go Tyrantrum.
Understandable. I think it fits you more.
Yeah, I do. I love me a Tyrantrum.
All right.
So that's my team.
That's your team.
Yeah.
5 mons.
Surprised I don't have Fire on there because Fire is my second favorite.
There's just not a good fire dragon that you can get that's not a legend.
There's
Turtonator.
Turtonator. Why?
I think that's it. There's Turtonator. That's all you have to say.
Then we'd have to start getting into like Mega Charizard X, which implies that this generation,
or a Reshiram.
Yeah, or a legendary. I think that would end up being my team.
Fair enough. Everybody likes to have their ace be their favorite Pokemon, and Ghost is my favorite type, and a Ghost type is my favorite Pokemon, so it's an easy ace for me of Gengar. I am going to pull off a Morty. You said you were going to avoid pulling on Cynthia's territory. I don't care. Morty, your team is WAC. You have 4 Pokemon in the Gengar line because when your game was introduced, there were 4 ghosts. And you didn't even use a Mischievous. Morty, try again later. That's just not it. So, my ace, Gengar. That one's a pretty easy, pretty standard. I could have died if that was crit. Need to pay a little bit more attention to the game I'm playing. Do not need to be losing Celine this early. Celine is too good. Freaking Herdier? Okay, Damien or Iron Lung. Let me look at their defenses. Iron Lung resists 34 to 27. As much as fighting is super effective, I need to play it safe against a Herdier. We could go into the new Pokemon, Alex, but I don't trust it yet because it hasn't done anything, and I don't want its first battle to be against middle stage normal type with Stab. What does this thing have by now? Takedown, probably? Okay, it has Tackle. Scared for nothing. So, Gengar's the ace. This thing's run quick, special. Shadow Ball's the signature move of the gym. That's no question. Not every Pokemon's going to have Shadow Ball, but obviously Gengar is. Now, crit. We're still good. Always play around the crit. Ghosts are only weak to 2 types. And so that makes pulling defenses pretty easy. They're weak to Ghost, which I am Ghost, so I'm also good against Ghost. So I don't need to worry about Ghosts that much, because what can I do except for put a Pokemon on the team that also resists Ghost, which I probably will do. But also, they are weak to Dark, which means I need a dark counter. So I could get a bug ghost, and aside from Shed Ninja, I can't think of anything that's a good bug ghost, and that's not even good. Unless you want to put a focus sash on it and give it a guaranteed turn to do what? I don't know. Dies of Toxic, dies of Stealth Rock. Not what I'm putting on my team. You then have Fighting, and we could roll up with an Annihilate, but Annihilate's a very ace type of Pokemon, and I don't want to have anything else that's like, this should be your ace if it's on the team. So I'm going to avoid putting Annihilate on the team. My dark coverage is actually going to go to Mimikyu, who is probably my favorite Pika clone-ish. I know the official Pika clone of the game is Togedemaru, but I just like Mimikyu. It's cool. I like its vibe. And that fairy type is, of course, good against dark. So that's going to give me some coverage against anybody who wants to roll up and just sweep me with a dark type. My favorite Gen 9 Pokemon definitely makes it onto the team, Ceruledge. The thing is just too cool. It's solidly bulky, has the stats akin to a starter, which is really good. And the fact that it gets Bitter Blade, a 90 base power move that heals itself, is really good. I'd probably put Sword Stance on it, make my AI have it set up so that there's a good chance to use a Sword Stance depending on what's in when it comes out. But Bitter Blade, Shadow Claw, Night Slash, Psycho Cut, things moveset's just really good. So that gives me 3. I mentioned I would probably put a Dracloak on the team because not my favorite pseudo-legendary, but Dragapult is very high on my list for pseudo-legendaries in general, which gets me about 4 on the team. So the last one, there's Miss Magius, there's Dusknoir, there's Bayonet. There's some fine options out there, but I think I want some good all-around coverage, and one of the things the team is missing that could be really handy is a ground type. So I think my final goes to, not Palisand. Why would I pick Palisand here? Golurk. Golurk Gen 5 could be a great addition to the team, because it's also going to be rocking 3 immunities, also being immune to electric type, and Ground Stab is pretty handy to have around. So that'd probably be what I would roll up with there. And I think it gets Hammer Arm. So there's one extra move I would have on there to help counter the dark types. Golurk's probably slow, but hopefully it tanks one hit. That's probably what my team's looking like. Not quite so much of the not fully evolved dragons you're working with, but you kind of have to when you're working with dragons. So
they're still powerful in their own right, even not fully evolved.
I mean, that's true. Most of your pseudo-legends at their middle stage are still rocking out with 420 something base stat total, which is pretty respectable. So, okay, we are almost done with our runabout of the city. I'm making sure I've gotten just about everything because there is quite a lot that can be picked up in this town here. I don't know if I'm ready to get the Eviolite from the scientist yet, but I'm going to head up that way because there are a couple of trainers we can fight on Route 4. I'm trying to remember if this is the game where... Oh, Name Raider, that's what you are. This girl gives us some friendship on a Pokemon, and we are going to absolutely put that on our friendship evolution because we would like to be evolved fully at level 23. Just to be totally sure. Oh no, this second floor here has the last Harlequin. After finding all of them, you get a nice rare candy. So, just a little something to have. What do you typically do when you get rare candies in Pokemon games? Are you like a use them immediately on somebody, or...?
If I have a Pokemon and I'm going to a gym where I need, like, my someone evolved to get some nice boost in power, I would just say, here you go. But lately with the whole move towards, like, we have different size candies, it kind of just depends, you know?
I mean, that's fair. The introduction of the
extra large
candy
small
experiences have been an intriguing one for the where do you use a rare candy, because it's always just enough experience to level up, never any more.
Yeah.
So whereas those candies have just a set amount of experience. So 38. Okay, not quite enough. We need to see 2 more Pokemon, which I think I can do out here. Oh, you know what? This will actually be really good. Route 4 here, one of the first trainers you'll find on the route. Oh, hello, Harlequin Hunt. But what do you mean I haven't visited the Battle Company? I'm literally working my way through there. Hold on. I'll be right back. One of the first trainers you can fight on the route is a Pokemon breeder who, for whatever reason, they give a very unique mechanic to in Black and White 2. They will always rebattle you. Every time you exit and enter the area they're in, they will refresh and battle you again. So whatever they have, if it's something we can take out pretty easy, and I want to say one of the Mons is a Meryl, we can just get a bunch of experience that way. If whatever we're looking for is something that can be taken out pretty easily by our team. If it's not, then whatever. Okay, somehow I just missed talking to this guy the first time. I was too focused on the actual battles in the Battle Company. Go figure.
I think the other times I've used the rare candies, if I catch a Pokemon that is just they have like only 2 forms, and that second form is much better, and you need just such a high level to get to like a 38. Let's see, like I think Noivern is a good example of this. Noibat to Noivern, such a good. It's worth it,
Yeah.
But you have to have a Noibat for so long.
True.
To then later get your Noivern.
Now, it's like initially in Gen 6, when Noibat was introduced, you just got it so late that it wasn't like you had it for too long. But then, Gen 7 comes along, and in Sun and Moon, you can get Noibat in like the first cave where you have your first trial. And if that's where you're getting your Noibat, it will be about 40 levels before you can evolve it.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Or in the case of like what happened to me in Scarlet and Violet, I found Gabite very high level just hanging out in a cave, and I was just like, I caught it, I gave it a candy, and I had a Garchomp. Kind of sometimes it's just like that. It's like you're 1 level away from evolving. Might as well just go ahead and give you that candy, get you evolved. Now you can hang out on the team permanently.
I always forget that Route 4 looks different based upon what game you're playing in Black and White 2. That Black 2, it's got the straight alleyway down the middle where it's actually being developed and taken in as part of Castelia City. And then White 2, they find these old ruins, and so it's all that construction is stopped and it's halted. And it's all like roped off, blocked off, and you can go explore the ruins.
Man, when can...
A little bit of cool differences there.
Can Gen 10 go back to cool differences like that?
Makes it actually worth it to get the other version of the game.
Like, I was gonna get Scarlet and Violet. I was thinking, oh, they're gonna be so different with all the different Pokemon. They're just very similar, and it would be a very similar feel. Not quite worth it. The only real difference that would be a lot cooler is Miraidon has a lot more interesting looking forms.
I don't think I've seen a Drillbur yet, so that's 1 of 2. And then any random Pokemon we encounter on Route 4 should be enough to get us that Eviolite. Which, the one Pokemon we do... Oh my gosh. So Magnezone didn't get smashed by Markiplier. Per our rules, that means we cannot use Magnezone. But we can use Magneton. That's why Magnemite's on the team. We can never fully evolve it.
No.
Eviolite Magneton? Oh my gosh. That's going to be really good. I hadn't thought about that yet. That's honestly a choice somebody might intentionally make when playing a Nuzlocke casually. Is like, you know what? This is just better than getting a Magnezone, having that extra defenses from the Eviolite. So we cannot be upset about that. Okay, did War Stash level up, or am I crazy? Actually, I just switched. I should have just kept it in and gotten a little bit of the experience. No, Huge Power Meryl with the rollout, taking a turn to set up could have been bad. We could have just gone into Iron Lung. I'm overthinking things. Herdier again, Iron Lung.
But I think Scarlet and Violet was a good move.
And our apologies for the technical difficulties there. We are back on schedule. You were talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yep. I think Gen 9 was a good step in the right direction. We can all admit we got a little burned by Gen 8. There were lots of things that people didn't like about it.
There were memes about trees.
The trees, the general...
We use healing items, I don't need Roost.
the general kind of lack of real challenge for experienced Pokemon players.
Mm-hmm.
The entire dex not being in the game
That's
starting
true.
out, that was the big one.
It was the first time that we didn't have the full Nat Dex, and people were not happy about that concept.
Yeah. Just the lack of, Dynamax and Gigantamax being hyped up a lot, and then it was like, this isn't as cool as Mega Evolution was the ultimate.
Okay, but in reality, though, out of all of the gimmicks we've gotten, what's your tier ranking on best to worst of Mega Evolution, Z moves, Gigantamax, Dynamax, and Terastallizing?
Mega Evolution is the best. It's top tier. I think
Respectable opinion.
last is Z moves,
Agreed. Hard agree.
and then I'm gonna say Terastallizing second.
Okay, your and my list look almost identical.
Yeah.
I would actually, and this is just from the. Okay, we have not seen a Darumaka. I think that is everything we need for the Eviolite, because we've not seen a Darumaka yet. I love Mega Evolution. It's great. It's the thing I want to see return most because it had such cool potential. But from a gameplay perspective, it's kind of easy to see a Mega Evolution coming.
Oh yeah.
And because of that, it almost makes it less fun than Terastallizing. Because not every Pokemon can Mega, but every Pokemon can Terastallize. And so in a competitive battle, and I'm not a big competitive battler, but it's just so cool to be able to pull out this, alright, you clearly have the better type matchup, and then snap, turn that around on the opponent. It just makes for more cool and dynamic battles overall.
It does. I think Dyna/Gigantamaxing is fun when you have a Pokemon that is capable of physically changing, like Charizard.
Right.
Or Gengar.
The actual Gigantamaxes, not Dynamaxes.
And even then, not every Charizard Gigantamaxes.
That's true. They have to have their Gigantamax meat or whatever filled up.
Yeah, so it's like it's very cool in concept. Execution wasn't quite there, and it got kind of old after maybe the third or fourth gen.
I think that is completely valid. No, I think you're right that Sword and Shield had its issues. I think the wild area
is very
fine.
Fun. It was very fun. It was a good introduction to that concept.
It was cool that every area had a lot of different encounters based upon the weather. And it's like, oh yeah, you walk into the first area, and if it's just the right day, right time, it's hailing, and there's ice types before the first gym. That was cool that they found a good, seamless way to do that. But the wild area just did not give me a lot of incentive to go around and explore it.
No.
Compared to Paldea, which I just loved running around. I think having Miraidon, Koraidon made it a lot easier than just walking on foot. It's
having the means to get around was a lot of fun.
Going on this quick side adventure felt like it would actually be a quick side adventure rather than, and if I go this way for 5 minutes, it'll take me 5 minutes to get back.
And opening the map and looking at, if I just go a little bit south, there's something I can go do that relates to a story. Was a lot of incentive to walk around as well.
Right. And, there were some cool, good things that I appreciated about Sword and Shield. It had a bit more reason to pick one version over the other, I think, than Scarlet and Violet, with having two gym leaders that were different in type based upon which version you got. I mean, you think back to Black and White, the original, your first gym leader changes type based upon what starter you pick.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking of anything else. I guess the first totem in Sun and Moon changed based upon which version of the game you got. That was a little different. If you picked Moon, you had a little bit easier time because one fighting move just kills Raticate, but not Gumshoes. Other than that, I can't say there's that much where which game you pick really affected the battles you were having. And Fighting Gym or Ghost Gym. That's pretty different. Ice to Steel, not so much. Both weak to fire, both weak to fighting. That one was a little bit more whatever. But it was still pretty cool that it was a different type. But I agree that I wasn't super incentivized to explore the wild area. The villainous team being Yell, who were just fans of Marnie. And then the fake out oh, it's actually Marco Cosmo, and your main villain's motivation was, we're going to run out of energy in 1,000 years. We need to do something about that right here and now.
Yeah.
Was not something I really liked.
There's just so much. There's an easier way they could have done it.
Yeah.
And I think they really came out. They came out swinging and went in the right direction with Scarlet and Violet. So I'm excited for whatever Generation 10 is going to look like.
Now, I think the thing we all agree is that the games need more time in the oven.
Oh yeah.
Game Freak is just too overloaded trying to get games out as quickly as they are, and they've got this about every 2 years they need a new game.
I think
1 year can be DLC, the next has to be a new game.
I think luckily with what we're experiencing right now is the slow fading out of the current Switch model of we probably won't get another major Zelda game after Tears of the Kingdom on it, right?
I can't imagine we will, not on the basic Nintendo Switch.
And just their timeline of when they start to transition as well. I think we're getting Gen 10 is having a lot of time to cook. I'm presuming they are currently cooking.
That's the hope, anyways.
If they're cooking right now, they got a lot of time to cook, and we could get, let's say, we get the reveal of our new Switch for holiday of 2024. That means we could have our Pokemon game for the Switch mid-2025, November 2025. Which means it has a lot of time to cook if they are currently cooking.
That's the hope, is that they are, and it'll take a while. I hope Gen 10 is good. Because Pokemon's always had this sort of, when you're the first game on a new console, there's a bit of an issue with how the quality of the game. Diamond and Pearl ran very slow.
Yeah.
Like, just the time it takes move animations and HP ticking down. X and Y did not look as good as Sun and Moon did. And I think there were some 20?
Apparently. You can call it your...
All right, Evolution. Let's go, Celine.
You can call it the first foray into 3D, which I think you can give a lot of credit to X and Y for. Consider the time that it was and that we had... This is our first 3D Pokemon game.
Yeah.
So, it looks good for what it was. Doesn't look as good as Sun and Moon. Didn't run as well as Sun and Moon, from my recollection.
I'm going to be a Nuzlocke, and I'm going to take Protect. Handy for scouting.
Anyway.
But, yeah. It's like, obviously, Scarlet and Violet had their issues, but my overall reaction and appreciation of that game was a lot higher. Things I did like about that game. There was now some kind of notable boss or something to do for every type in the game.
Yeah.
Suddenly having 3 different storylines, one for Starfall Street, one for the gyms, one for the Titans, meant that every type was represented in some kind of boss battle.
Yeah.
And they were all different types. You had the typical Pokemon battles, gym battles, just like you're used to. This time there's terrestrialization. Then you had the Titans, just like it was back in Sun and Moon. You have a Titanic, large Pokemon that I think some of them get stat boosts right off the bat like they did in Sun and Moon, and that was pretty cool. Guess we're going back out in Celine. It's the only thing that can handle a Drover. At least before Sash so injured. And then you had the sort of raid battle, you versus a whole bunch of small enemies in the Starfall Street.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool to be able to see. So I like that there were different types of battles utilized in all of the different boss fights you had. And in case you were missing fighting a trainer with a specific type,
still had
the types of the Elite Four lined up perfectly with the Titans.
Yeah.
Which was like, I see what you're doing. It works. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I think with Generation 10, it's a real question of, do they go back to formula, or do they throw some wicked cool new at us?
Yeah.
Because I would say going back to formula would have a lot of like earlier generations. Something new would be something like the regional variants and paradox Pokemon.
Yeah.
Being able to be caught.
Honestly, I think that's one of the things that Pokemon introduced that I've been happy to see stick around for as many games as it has is regional forms.
Yeah.
Because ever since Sun and Moon started introducing Alolan forms, which honestly, we'll just be honest, Alolan forms were a great way for Pokemon to say, hey, here's this Pokemon from Kanto that really should have been a Dark type, but we didn't make them Dark types when we made Gen 2 like we did Magnemite for Steel type. Here you go. They're finally a Dark type.
Yeah.
Grimer got its Dark type. Meowth got its Dark type. Rattata got its Dark type. That's why they introduced it.
Alolan Raichu got its Psychic type.
Which I don't think original Raichu should have been Psychic. But, I mean, for the whole point, yeah. But then, finally, with the Galarian forms and with Paldean forms, you're starting to get new takes on other Pokemon that didn't necessarily have to be that type at the beginning. It's just, here's a variant that looks similar.
We're starting to see them be okay with taking pseudo-legendaries and legendaries and giving them the new interesting type of form.
Mm-hmm.
With, gosh, what are they called? The Big Cat Trio getting their, two of them getting their...
Oh, right, Paradox forms for Walking Wake, Iron Leaves.
Yes.
Walking Wake, Iron Leaves, and then... I don't know the Raikou or the Cobalion one.
We have yet to get Entei, which makes me upset.
Well, Walking Wake and Iron Leaves were in the first round of DLC.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen it, but we know Entei will be coming, and we know Terrakion will be coming. They have to do it. Now, unfortunately, the big cats, the legendary beasts, don't have a fourth, so I don't know if we're going to see anything for little old Keldeo. He's just going to get forgotten to time. Tragic.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I think it's cool that it's like, okay, yeah, no, how about we do this for legendary Pokemon as well?
Yeah. I think what could be really interesting, though, is if we were, I know we've gone back to Kanto and other earlier regions several times.
Mm-hmm.
If we went back to Kanto, saying, oh,
back to Kanto.
Hey, this Pokemon that originally came from Paldea, from anything post Gen 3 really, that or when we started getting regional forms, and just saying, what if they got a Kanto form? Where they got, admittedly, more basic, but just like saying, what if we went back to Kanto?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So like Kanto forms of Paldean, Galarian Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's a different concept. I mean, I think it'd be cool to see how those Pokemon would adapt to a different environment. But it's like Kanto's such a basic region, it's hard to say. It's like Hoenn. I can see Pokemon adapting to living in Hoenn compared to where they come from. I can see Pokemon adapting to live in Sinnoh from where they come from. But Kanto, there's just... What are you going to do? Become a normal type? Become a grass type? Become a flying type? There's just not enough that I expect. Like, oh, this is how it changes. But that's where it's like... You can do more reasons for why they change, which is like what they had for Alolan Rattata and Young Goose. Is it's like they brought in Rattata to be the prey, but they were nocturnal, so there was no actual... Just gonna run from that real quick. I don't think anything on our team actually handles Onyx. We have Alex. Okay, we need to start getting him trained up a little bit. But I want to get Wharfstash evolved first because it's actually going to get used in the gym, and Timberpry will not. So, yeah, what were we talking about? My brain fell apart.
Talking about how great regional forms are.
Yeah. So, you know, they can definitely do some good lore and stuff for that.
I still want to get regional forms of past starters.
That would be intriguing.
We've never gotten it. I held out hope for it. Scarlet and Violet, and it didn't come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably obviously start with the Kanto trio. They'd probably be the first ones to get it.
As most things do.
I mean, they're the most basic. They need it, in a sense. Charizard doesn't, but the other two...
Well, hold on. We actually do have alternate forms for starters. Hisuian.
True.
It's only for 3, but...
It's only for 3, and it's not...
It has started. So it's not like it's
not like
an impossibility.
Yeah.
Do you think Game Freak's going to go back to...
The Legends?
Not just the Legends, but Let's Go? Like, they made two very different, unique types of games.
I think
that just kind of got
seemingly
left. I guess Legends wasn't that long ago. But,
from a business standpoint, going back to Legends makes more sense than Let's Go.
I mean, that's true.
It sold better. People were more interested and hyped about it.
Right. I could totally see them doing Legends. All right. All regions we've got. Which Legends game are you the most? That's what I would want to play.
I'd be really interested to see.
I want to say this level 18 has takedown, and I'm not playing games. Not with a herdier.
I'd be really interested to see what a Legends version of Galar looks like.
That would be cool.
Very classic medieval knights and dragons and etc. That'd be interesting. I think I really would be. I'm really curious about Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald as well.
I can see that one working.
The history of Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating. But I think it would be. It's so weird to say it'd be Galar, but I think it would be. Galar.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to say that it's games that have good, well-founded lore are going to do the best for Legends games.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the one I'd want most is Legends Kyurem. Because Unova was like peak Pokemon story from where it starts, where it ends in the game, what you learn about the legendary Pokemon. And knowing that Kyurem's like this shell of this starter, the founder dragon that Reshiram and Zekrom split off to become, getting to see what that original looked like, what it was called. You know, you can do a classic legendary Sinnoh or whatever they called it, and find out what that legendary Pokemon is and get to see, you know, how that worked. Really? No hidden item here? Tragic. You could see how that could work out, manifest, because this time it would be like two separate factions. Oh, it's one Pokemon, but this time it splits during the course of the game, and each faction gets their own legendary that they're fighting with for a little bit against each other in this sort of war.
I mean, you mentioned war, the one that other people would point to, Pokemon Legends. The Pokemon War that was mentioned and never talked about again.
Yeah?
What happened there? Why did it start? Who ended it? What rank? Lieutenant Surge? What did he do?
He's zapped his foes and just a mission.
There's some interesting tidbits of lore that could be had there.
I don't know why I decided to stay in. That was a little foolish. I know Timber has Rock Throw. I have one. But yeah, no, I definitely think, you know, the lore is there. It's available for the working. It would be intriguing to see. Do you remember what the name of that Pokemon fan game is? That it's talking about the war between Johto and Kanto?
Do I know? No, I don't do a lot of Pokemon fan games.
I mean, I don't think I've played any either, but
the most Pokemon fan stuff that I follow a couple of really good art pages on Instagram that are like creating their own fan region. I don't know if they're going to create their own game. There's the one,
or if it's all conceptual.
Yeah, there's a conceptual one on YouTube here. That's what if Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom was a region and how that would work. That's been a real fun one. Really fascinating because, like, you know, obviously you have Honedge and all that are like, you know, Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Hylian Shield Master Sword. There's been ones for Wolflink and Midna, all that. Really fascinating one. So I cannot remember the name of the creator, but if you're interested, go check it out. It's pretty easy to search. Been a really interesting journey that's going under.
All I know is that there is a fan game. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically the story of Pokemon Red and Blue. I'm pretty sure I want to say you play as blue. You play as Gary. I'm trying to remember if that's exactly correct, because the whole point of the game is it's like there was this war between Johto and Kanto, and all your people from Kanto are fighting back, but eventually the notable figures, Lance, I want to say Lance was of Johto in this game. Johto wins out after Professor Oak, who's like leading the Kanto side, surrenders. And people are like, yo, what's up with that? And he's like, we couldn't take more years of this war. Can we please not get stuck in this? I'm going to switch out now. Swoop Bat's faster than I thought. We don't have a minus speed nature, so. And so you play through the game and you start to sort of discover things about what was going on during the war. You learn about the lore of Mewtwo. And we already know that Blaine and Mr. Fuji were a part of that expedition team that was looking for Mew, that wanted to make Mewtwo. But you learn why they had done all of that. And you find out it was basically to create this ultimate Pokemon to try and battle against Johto. But the Pokemon was too strong. It went rogue. It wouldn't fight for them. So Oak surrenders instead. You find out as it progresses that Oak had another plan that he was cooking in the background, and it was Project Red. He would make a perfect battler, someone with immense skill at Pokemon battling that they would basically never lose. And he would be near, sort of raise them from young, but not claim them as his own kid, and then have them have some sort of disability that makes them mute, unable to speak, or speak very falteringly, which is why your protagonist in the game doesn't speak, so that he could be the voice, so that when Red wins the Elite Four and becomes the champion, he becomes the ruler of the combined country. And with Professor Oak pulling the strings in the background as like a father figure to this individual, he's back in control.
This is some Three Houses level of storytelling right here.
From what I've heard, I've tragically never played the game itself. It seems to be like one of the best Pokemon-related stories. And, you know, it's coming from a fan game, which is its own thing. But yeah. I've only heard good things about the story for that, and I really wish I remembered what it was called. Let us know in the comments if you remember, if you've played the game. Let us know if we should play it ourselves, because I've been looking for an excuse to do so. But yeah, no, I think that would be cool. It's like a lot of theorizing that you get to do about the older Pokemon games and what was going on. Then starting around Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, they actually lay out all of the pieces you really need.
They lay out some lore.
I don't think I'm going to take Spark. Spark's physical. It might be higher base power, but I'm a special attacking boy with Magnemite here. For reference, let's actually get a look at those stats. And then, since Unova, they've continued in that, 55 to 25, absolutely not. They continue that storytelling, giving you the pieces you need, but it's, I would just say, not as well executed.
No.
So, there's not theorizing you can do, and there's not
I think
actual well-given good lore, so.
I think that you need to pick a side of give us good lore, or give us just enough to make talking online and theorizing about it more of a thing again. Like with Scarlet and Violet, good stories. Overall, some of them were very heartwarming and made you feel good. Arvin's made you wonder who was chopping onions in your bedroom when you were playing it.
Arvin's made you wonder, why am I playing this character? Arvin is the main character.
Yeah. Penny's made you just say, that makes me feel icky for a little bit, but then good in the end.
It is nice that we didn't get a story of the school just failed, because as you find out that our director, Clavel, who is just a normal guy and does not
guy.
disguise himself as a teenager,
What a guy.
has only been the head of the school for less than a year.
Yeah.
And everything that started with Team Star was before he was even there.
I did appreciate that.
And it's like, it wasn't just that he failed. He gets there, he finds out about this, and he's like, so why is there a group of bullies who don't come to school at all?
And he was trying to fix it.
And he immediately gets in and jumps in and starts to investigate.
Yeah.
It's like, this was all failings of a previous staff who all left the school.
Yeah.
And so it's not negatively reflected on the characters we actually interact in the story.
I'm a little surprised DLC isn't having us. I haven't played the current DLC.
I have.
Do you meet those former past?
Oh, absolutely not. Unless the people at Kitakami are connected, which I highly doubt.
Man.
It's all about the new Blueberry Academy and
I feel like that could have been a good DLC.
paratrainers from there.
Concept of the staff that failed. Let's meet them and see just how they're doing now.
Who knows? Maybe they work at Blueberry Academy.
They could.
I mean, I'd say definitely get yourself in to play that first DLC before the next one drops, I think in April. Because, for once, unlike in Sword and Shield, the two play off of each other. Sword and Shield's were, I think, very separated. It's like the story you get in Crown Tundra did not relate to the story in Isle of Armor. But it absolutely is the case for Scarlet and Violet that Teal Mask immediately rolls into Indigo Disc.
Okay.
So that's good because you have the same returning characters and it takes place after Teal Mask.
Okay.
I would bet that the way the DLC is set up is that you cannot play Indigo Disc until you've beaten Teal Mask.
Got it.
Because it ends on a cliffhanger of like, this character has had this character growth. See them again in the next DLC.
Okay.
Which is actually pretty cool.
Got it.
There really is a case with these characters, the two main ones for the DLC, that you will probably like one and hate the other. And there are two types of people, depending on which one you like. Very few people actually like both.
Got it.
Which is what's really funny.
Can't wait to see where I fall.
It'll tell us a lot about you based upon which one you end up liking.
I feel like characters I end up liking, it really is the basic, quote, vanilla option. You know?
You are pretty basic.
When you talk about...
Man, if Mark had smashed an Evolution, we'd be able to get that here.
Like, when you talk about, oh, who's your favorite, Spider-Man or Venom, I say, Spider-Man. You know? Do you like Batman or the Joker better? I like Batman better. You know?
You like hero people doing hero things.
Usually.
I feel like I can take a guess as to which of the DLC characters you would like then, because both of the DLC characters have story arcs. They both undergo character change, but it's not that both of them undergo positive change.
I usually like people who end up changing for the better and don't just remain bad for being bad.
Right.
Like, Best Ninja Turtle, Raphael. That's going to spark some debate in the comments. Typically, often end up being the main character because he's the one that needs to learn the lesson the most. That failing is okay and that he is allowed to be the second best. He doesn't have to be the best. But then again, with Transformers.
All right. And our encounter for Castelia Garden is this Cottony that we get to trade away.
Got it. When you go to Transformers, a lot of people would say, I like this really interesting one. I like Optimus Prime.
Good job, Worf Stash. Way to weaken him down for us.
I like the big truck. It turns into a warrior. Optimus. He has a gun.
A gun?
But then, you know, I like Knuckles from Sonic, who doesn't have a gun.
That's true. Though there are characters in Sonic who have a gun. Speaking of characters in Sonic who have a gun. Sometimes you just have to shoot the camera. Sometimes you just have to shoot your audience.
But yeah, I tend to like the safe option, you know, when it comes to actual characters. Now, when we talk about like, oh, who's your favorite FNAF animatronic? It's just they're not characters until Security Breach.
I mean, that's fair.
They're just.
So who's your favorite animatronic?
It's Security Breach.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know.
Okay. we won't be keeping Cottony. It won't keep the name.
Okay.
So what gets traded away?
I feel like up.
What do you think? Gets traded away?
I was gonna make a Bob and Wade joke.
But I feel like they could actually be on the team.
They could.
Because he's still doing Distractable.
That's true. Yeah, Ethan.
We'll trade that after we beat the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, while we are here, this is the one place we can do some decent training from the Autono rather than having to fight the trainers. So I'm going to get...
Oh, right, we were talking about...
Alex up to the front.
The best animatronic in Security Breach. I mean, we all know the answer. It's our dad. Clam Rock Freddy.
I mean, that's a very you answer given what you were talking about earlier.
I will say...
just ignore the fact that today we are running very fast back and forth. Our Zimbabwean 3DS just comes built in with a little button that lets us go fast when we need to.
Security Breach Ruin did make me more of a fan of Roxy.
Yeah.
Not for the reason that Twitter is, though.
I would have said that Freddy was my favorite.
Yeah.
During Security Breach.
But then Ruin
I think it switched after Ruin.
I mean, they're still my top 2 favorites.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't have Freddy Roxy as their top 2, I'm confused about.
I'm concerned for them, actually.
Anyone who has Chica as their favorite is more concerning.
We did get a bit of lore about Monty, though, in Ruin.
That's true, though the lore we got was stuff that should make you dislike him based upon your rules.
True. It makes me sympathetic for Bonnie. R.I.P.
Speaking of all this FNAF talk, by the time this video comes out, it will be after the FNAF movie drops.
True.
And probably after our movie reaction comes out. So if you
Also
haven't seen it yet, there should be a video on our channel of us reacting to the FNAF movie. So if you enjoy that, go give that a watch.
And if not, type beans in the comment section.
Yeah, because we're going to remember that when this video goes up, and we're going to see all the comments of beans, and we're going to be like, yes, we told them to do that, and not just be very confused.
We won't get ratioed by the word bean in our comment section.
Man, I hate getting ratioed by beans.
Have you been ratioed by beans before?
More times than beans in a can of beans. It's a very small can of beans.
What's the average bean count for a can of Bush's baked beans?
I didn't say it was Bush's.
I didn't want articles. I wanted an answer.
Yeah, but it's got to be a scientific article. They have to take the amount of volume a bean takes up, the volume of a can, and do the math. Given the amount of free space that should be in the typical bean structure in a can.
Okay.
How much of that is just bean sauce, you know?
Oh, okay. This one I thought I had an answer on this
Okay,
one.
Audino can't do anything to us. I'm just going to use the powers of Zimbabwe to speed this up a little bit because we're attracted and we cannot hit. Kill. Nope.
Luck kill?
What, you watch anime?
Some.
You seen Kill la Kill?
No.
I was gonna say bonk.
I've seen images.
I'm sure you've seen images.
Well, it was when it was airing, it was one of those animes you couldn't escape. You know?
Ooh, wake up slap. Let's grab that.
Everyone was talking about Kill la Kill at some point.
Bide could be handy. I'm probably not going to use focus energy. I'm probably not going to use Bide, but in the right circumstance, I could see it being used. Now, let's see. Right now, we're early into the autumn season anime. What have you been watching?
I am not caught up on things.
You might not be caught up, but you've watched a couple of episodes of some stuff, I'm sure.
It's mostly been Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2.
Yeah, and it's a good season.
It is. I'm not caught up as of October 23rd, 2023.
But think about it. By the time this video comes out, you'll be even less caught up.
So true.
Because there will be another good 2-3 episodes out than are out now.
So true. I'm mostly making sure I'm caught up on Loki season 2.
Dude.
As that's
oh my gosh.
As I feel like in the general zeitgeist of things talked about online, that's more talked about, and it's more chance for me to get spoiled.
Yeah, anime is for weebs.
True. But no, Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. I'm keeping it easy watching the English dub right now, just to make it simple and clean. Get at me in the comments. Go ahead. Do it.
We need to stop commanding our
They're
audience.
right there.
They're going to have too many comments for us. We can't handle that many comments.
Maybe we'll break the algorithm with all our comments that we end up getting. But no,
WAC breaks the algorithm.
Currently, Gojo just got sealed, and we're having reactions to Geto being not Geto anymore.
You should have anticipated spoilers after we talked about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. So if you just got spoiled, blame yourself.
Get L plus ratio plus you got spoiled.
That was something that definitely took me for a pause, because they just at the start of the season gave us the backstory on Gojo and Geto.
And yeah.
And then did not remind us what happened in Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking that the last interaction between Gojo and Geto
when they were in high school.
was when they were in high school, and then it's like, oh yeah,
no, Yuta annihilated Geto.
Right.
Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
It's like, I forgot. He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, he's been canonically dead.
And I'm just sitting here like, wait, why? What is this about? Something? Why is there a thing in his head?
I will say, I also
forgot.
I also, for the longest time, forgot how much Yuji hates Mahito. Because
I mean, yeah.
I forgot like
what happened with
that arc didn't, like, in that interaction between Yuji and what's his name, the kid who Mahito ended up really,
sad nerdy kid.
Yeah,
the loner.
The one that, the kid, I just didn't, at the time when I was watching binging season 1, that interaction did not feel super duper important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So having that be brought back as why Yuji hates Mahito, I was like, I guess this is more to reveal Yuji's morals and heart than his connection to that kid.
Right.
You know? But I forgot how much Yuji wanted to fight Mahito again.
Yeah.
Until we got to the mantis bug, the locust man, who I could have gone my entire life without seeing that shot of his thorax looking real phallic in that one shot before Yuji just punched it to heck. It's burned into my brain.
Sand attack? No, we've got a good attacking moveset already. Not taking that. I always forget.
The opening on this one is growing on me as well. Specials.
You are my special. I would keep singing, but I know I'll get DMCA'd for my beautiful voice.
Cannot wait to see what Sukuna is going to do this season. As where I am currently, Sukuna
haven't seen anything?
Yeah, Sukuna hasn't popped out to say hello and do some things.
When was the last time Yuji even ate a finger?
End of season 1.
Could have been minutes, even decades ago.
But yeah, we just Gojo just got sealed and got L plus ratioed by Jogo, Geto, and what's the flower one name? Cannot remember.
My brain's too full of other names from other shows to be able to remember everyone in Jujutsu Kaisen's name. If they're not one of our main heroes, I probably forgot.
Yeah, no, I'm curious where this season's going to go. Because I know that Shibuya arc is, according to manga readers, one of the peaks. Which makes me want to, after this season concludes, figure out where to pick up and read the manga. Because apparently it is popping off right now. And if you know, don't spoil why it's popping off in the comments.
It is still surprising to me that you decided to get into manga after watching a show that stopped airing and you wanted to find out what was happening. That show that I recommended to you that you got like 3-4 episodes into and then said, I'm not going to watch this. And I said, bro, really? You didn't even get to where it starts getting good.
It took a while to get good.
It did. 10 episodes is a lot, but it's still funny to me that you now read some manga because of that show.
Well, I mean, now I really got to keep up with the manga because now it's gone to every 3 months chapter release with the magazine it got transferred to. Which means the chances of the anime coming back are real slim and real tight.
I mean, I'm expecting it to come back. It's just going to be a while before it does.
Yeah.
Might be a bit longer, but I guess there's enough to at least make some episodes. Okay, do we have enough friendship? Yes.
It'd probably be like a half season, kind of like how Spy Family Season 1...
First core, second core?
Yeah. How they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even begun Spy Family Season 2 yet. Because, again, it's one of those animes that, like, the story isn't, like, always happening. Like, the overarching story is not always happening in present.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, getting spoiled online that they went shopping today is not as big a deal as, let's say, whatever happens in the next episode of the Shibuya arc.
44 defense. That is pretty darn nice. Beats out Iron Lung, though Iron Lung does have the Eviolite, which actually pulls it up ahead to the first. Otherwise, that 44 defense is really good. Highest attack, too, right? Yeah, 51, 49 speed. Celine's going to be a pretty good carry as we work our way through the desert after this gym. Gets us to 41. Everyone's 21. Swarf Stash 21. If not, we'll do... Okay. Get one more level because I think Wharf Stash evolves at 21. I'll cure that paralysis and take down one more Audino, then we'll head into the gym.
Let's go.
We won't be at highest possible level. I'll trade around who I've got in the front to spread the levels around, but...
Excuse you.
Yeah, I will. But that will be fine because once again, this gym is not going to be the scariest. We have a fire starter and we have a
relatively easy time
flying type, and we have a bug grass of our own that should be able to beat out any of the other bug grasses we encounter because bug is good against bug grass. We will outspeed, we will out defense, we will out kill if we are at full HP and just starting off. Iron Lung, though it doesn't have anything super effective, is not going to get hit hard by either of those two. And Timber. That's all I have to say there. Look, the newest addition to our team, he'll be great later.
Later on.
Right now he can throw rocks, but I'm not going to trust him to take out the Levani. I think anything else on our team would be Berg's Levani, though. I'm not going to trust our Levani with it.
Sorry, don't you mean Bugsby?
You said Bugsby, not Bugsy.
Whatever.
You just referenced a rabbit.
Hey, sometimes you win some, you lose some in the referencing / roasting your friends game, and I lost.
Well, time to spin the punishment wheel.
It's my first loss on the channel, and I did it to myself, so technically I didn't lose.
That's
when you really think about it.
That's some kind of logic. I won't call it correct logic, but it is some kind.
No, it's correct.
Okay, if you say so.
If you do it to yourself, it's not losing.
Okay, I was thinking I'll keep Wharf Stash in, but I decided I don't want to do that. Mainly because it would take Wharf Stash more than a couple hits to take an Audino out, just because these things have so much health and it use Attract, and I hate it. They really make killing this thing annoying, but also rewarding, so still worth doing. Plus it gives HP EVs, which are just decent all around, I guess. No Pokemon really suffers from having more HP. And if we kill this right here, we'll have, I think, a Tranquil. Which, if I remember correctly, no, we got Levani, never mind. Tranquil will be the second Pokemon on the team Mark officially smashed. Because our rules are, of course, we can use a Pokemon up until the evolution. and he did smash both Tranquil and Unpheasant.
Right.
We got Levani first, so that counts as our first official smash. This one takes second.
Wow.
Look at that. What a Tranquil Pokemon. Cue laughter. Okay. With Tranquil on the team.
To the gym.
Stats just a bit higher. I did forget that there are a trainer or two we can go fight down in the sewer, so I think I'm going to do that real quick. Just for a bit of experience on Iron Lung, maybe. Alex. I think there's actually only one. Oh, we can go that way. Plus, there's a few items. This place opens up a lot more if you're playing in the autumn or winter because the water drains.
Yeah.
And we don't have surf, but we can still get a little bit of stuff.
Yeah. Thinking about this Jujutsu Kaisen again, I sense Yuji is going to be a great growth type of character, similar to Asta. Early on.
By the way, we did not say the name of the show earlier. The thing that got him
Black Clover.
Manga is Black Clover. I was waiting for you to say it, but you just didn't.
Asta early on very much just swing big sword pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very much turned into a very good swordsman. Lots of versatility in overcoming the odds. I think Yuji, currently in Shibuya, we keep getting reminded that he does not have a curse technique.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see him develop a pretty darn unique curse technique to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot of them are very unique, but like his domain expansion. People keep talking about how they can easily see it being like a boxing ring where literally all of your unique powers and buffs, even Yuji's, get just thrown out the window and it's just a one-on-one boxing
physical,
match. Yeah.
fist to fist.
Which I think still fits his character very well. Mm-hmm. It's very strategic, oddly enough, but it's like it still fits Yuji to just want a big punch brawl.
Right. And it's shown that the strength he has is kind of beyond what you can expect of a typical non-buffed human. So he's generally going to win those.
Even with Sukuna's help.
Right.
Before he swallowed the finger, he was just an incredibly athletic kid.
Right.
Naturally, no real effort needed.
Because, I mean, we started with the first couple of episodes, someone like trying to recruit him for some sports team.
The coach, he was a part of the like...
Oh, yeah, we totally need to go down here. I forgot there's an item we can get in the sewers that is going to be real handy.
He was part of the like spooky club. Mm-hmm. And then the coach was like, actually, I signed you up without your permission to the sports team. Mm-hmm. And now the spooky club can't be spooky club anymore. Because there's only 2 members. And then Yuji was like, well, if I beat you in sports ball, then you have to let me be in spooky club. And then he ate the finger and never really talked to those people again. Because he went into Jujutsu High.
True. But speaking of people from his high school, what are your thoughts on the episode, It's Like That? Where he encounters this girl who had a crush on him?
It was unexpected start to what is known as one of the darkest arcs in the manga/anime.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do I not know where this is going?
Shibuya?
Well, yeah, it leads into Shibuya. I thought you were like, oh, but here's the spoiler when he encounters her later and this is happening.
No.
I was going to say, you know something I don't know? Because I'm a couple episodes ahead of you.
It's just like, to kick off the arc of...
Ignore what's going on with Shibuya.
Yeah.
His interactions with the girl from his high school, or middle school.
Typical Yuji. He's kind of dumb. Doesn't quite understand, but they kind of imply that he kind of understands at the same time.
I'm sitting here thinking the entire time, it's like, that's Yuji, based Giga Chad.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yes, of course this is this person.
Yeah.
And just never had any doubt, doesn't call any attention to anything. He's just like, yeah, what's up? How's it going?
Yeah.
That was good and fun to see. Mm-hmm. I think an interesting thing we've seen in like anime protagonists recently has been characters that are a blend of old school protagonist
and new school,
and I guess just intelligent.
Yeah.
Because Naruto set up what I consider the classic 3 character types. You have the Naruto type, the gets by dumb talent, does not really have to work that hard, just pull back, reverse. Naruto is the not very intelligent, has to work hard type.
Yes.
You see a lot of training montages for Naruto working towards his skill set. And they get powerful, but they start weak. And almost every 3-man squad in Naruto had one of these characters. Had one person who had to try hard to get where they're going. Rock Lee was one of them. Choji was one of them. They did not have the innate skill level of their counterpart, the genius.
The Sasuke.
The Sasuke, the Shikamaru. Those who are just good by default.
Yeah.
They just have the right blood, they have the right smarts, and they just rock out, and they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
And then you have the third type girl, which is a little diminishing to Naruto, which wasn't quite that bad, but every single 3-man squad in Naruto had 2 guys and 1 girl, so it really was that accidentally. I
think,
and that kind of continued as it's which anime protagonist do you have? Do you have smart and good by default, or do you have has to try and work hard and is generally not very smart?
Or do you have both?
And now we've started getting into shows that have sort of broken that down a little, and it's here's Yuji. He's not the smartest guy out there. He does have to work to get where he's going, but he picks things up surprisingly quick.
Black Flash 4 times in a row.
Exactly. He just rolls up and it's it seems like he's innately good, but he's not actually. He still had to train and learn that.
He also just is still canonically in Shibuya without Sukuna out. The weakest of the bunch. Because he doesn't have a proper curse technique. He just punches.
Well, I mean, they did note that him, just like Megumi and Nobara and everyone else who's going around there, up for consideration for first grade, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But it's clear that his skill is being recognized, so that's always cool.
Yeah, I think a show that broke it down a little bit further was Black Clover later on.
Yeah.
Especially because, early on it was very much loud boy has to work hard with Asta. Born good. And that's pretty much it.
Right.
Then you had Noelle, who really shook up the girl. She's still into our main character, obviously. But she really shook up the idea of just, this is girl.
Right.
This is girl who has has to work very hard, like Asta, for a different reason.
Right. Actually giving something to work with in that regard, rather than just
girl.
Kind of basic, boring, bland.
And later on, we have Asta revealed to be working hard and a very good battle tactician and technician.
He shows up and he actually shows out as being pretty good at learning a lot of stuff.
And oddly enough, whether you think so or not, fell into this weird, still born good, real good, kind of fell into the same 3 or 4 moves and techniques and was just no, I know this did well last time, it's going to do well again this time. And when it didn't, he was classic anime, big, shocked eyes expression.
I can agree with that. That's been a fun twist up. Other examples of that sort of twist on the classic setup. My Hero, with Deku as our main character, someone who didn't start off high in power, had to work and train hard, still doing so, but has the mind of someone who's sort of the innate genius and picks up battle tactics very quickly. He learns fast, he takes notes, and is not the typical dumb wins by pushing harder, going faster, powering up to the next level in Super Saiyan. He analyzes, he uses tactics. So it's been refreshing to see some variety in more modern characters.
I'd say it is / it was for when it was unique.
That's understandable.
Now when we get someone like Yuji, it's this is unique and refreshing again to get just classic dumb boy.
True.
So it kind of became too much of a regular thing to where I was Just give me a simple dumb boy. And then when we got Yuji and Asa, I was like, this is good quality food right here.
Right. It's like there are three main points for a shonen anime protagonist. You have dumb, talented, and the other thing. And you pick two of them.
Dumb, talented, short are the three.
There you go. Wait, hold on. That means Asta fits all three. Does that just make him the winner? Is he the ultimate, the alpha protagonist?
Yep.
Get mad in the comments. Alright, we are in the gym. Finally, here we go.
Let's bomb rush this.
We got however many jokers to clear out here.
Should be a relatively easy bomb rush of just, we got fire type, we got flying type.
We're just going to click the super effective button a few times and
we're just going to click the win button.
See where that leads us. There's one down.
One win, let's go.
Let's get another one of those real quick. Okay, two wins. Way to go.
Click the win button, let's go. Count how many times we say win.
Up another level. How many are there? There are like 4 or 5.
I think it's...
Okay.
I'm going to say...
One thing I liked about
I want to say 4
Black and White.
Main levels, and then 5 is where you get the leader, is what I think.
That might be the case. One thing I like about Black and White 2 that is, I think, entirely unique to Pokemon as a whole. I'll talk about when I get back out of this battle so that can be properly appreciated. That said, Black and White 2 compared to Black and White 1, kind of appreciate that there's Pokemon that aren't Gen 5. That was one thing that threw a lot of people off of the series when it came to Black and White.
I understand what you mean now.
That in the original Black and White, up until post-game, and even in post-game, except for some rare areas, you couldn't catch anything that wasn't a Gen 5 Pokemon. Pokemon's had a lot of time they've wanted to reboot the series.
Yeah.
Gen 5 was kind of like that. Gen 6 was like that, because if you look at the routes and what you can get before you get to the first gym, it's almost 1-to-1. Unlike, here's this route, here's that route, here's the forest, here's the gym city, here's the route off to the side you can go to before the gym city that actually leads to the Elite Four. And you can go there early and grab Pokemon that aren't high level because you can get there early. The thing I like about this game, listen to this music. I gotta turn this up. Every gym has its own unique theme. It's a remix of the gym theme from Black and White, but fitting for a bug gym. It's got this sort of like chill... It fits the aura of the gym, to say the least.
Yeah. And
all of the gyms have that. The first gym plays the original gym theme, which, makes sense because it's a normal type gym. And then you have Roxy's gym, where she's playing a song to the music, actually singing along. P-O-K-E-M-O-N, Pokemon. Works so much better in Japanese when they're doing coughing's name, but even if they were doing coughing, K-O-F-F-I-N-G, coughing. Doesn't work no matter which way you try, unfortunately. So, that's just kind of how that goes. Oh, we should switch Damien now because he is now at the level cap. Okay, real quick, we're gonna... What are we talking about?
Music, coughing, Pokemon.
Said I need to switch out because we are at that level cap. Which this will be fine, no worries. But then there's the Bug Gym, which has a sort of chill, mellowed vibe to it. Elisa's gym, the runway, the fashion show, might be one of my favorites. That one's super cool. Clay's got a nice baseline to fit the underground theme. We are not going to use flying Pokemon against Dwebble. Now is the time for Alex to shine. Skyla's is very like windy feeling because her gym's a wind tunnel. Then the dragon one just kind of goes hard. And then the water one is back to that sort of chill, mellow, aquatic vibes. And something that they haven't done in any other game that I can remember. But it's just such a cool thing that they were like, yeah, unique themes for each gym based upon
I'd say closest
the gym leader type.
Closest we came recently would have been Scarlet and Violet having unique themes for the 3 different types of boss battles.
Yeah.
We did. And then each unique trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like your final time you face a certain character in each.
Right.
Like
you have the Nimona fight, you have the Nimona final fight.
Yeah.
Penny has her own theme, Arvin has his own theme, I think.
And then you have your and then you of course have your music for your final boss of the game, the robot, the AI.
Yeah. Dude, the AI professor theme is so good.
I will say I was a little moved about the reveal of AI Professor. It was teased well throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting tired of everything the villain is AI recently. It's not my favorite trend.
But I think that one was done well, that it wasn't the AI is a villain. It's the AI is a good guy who is corrupted by another AI.
Yes.
It was very Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Jarvis got
Yeah. I just don't like the trend of every villain is going to be somehow AI now.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be a trend going forward. I think it was just a timely thing for the one game.
Well, not in Pokemon, just in media.
Fair enough. But, yeah, no, I mean...
It was done well.
I feel like that had to have been weird in your game, because my game with the whole future Pokemon, playing Violet, it made a lot of sense, and then I realized as I was getting into the battle, and I was seeing all the iron Pokemon drop down, I was like, wait, is it an AI professor for...
I would say
for Professor Sada?
I'd say for Sada, it was, in a way, creepier. Here's someone dealing with more past things. Oh, all of a sudden now it's a robot. It became more eerie in a way.
I can see that.
You know, with Turo, it makes sense and it's more expected. It was more left field for Sada, so it was in a way creepier and eerier. And
I like that means that the only real villain of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is the original professor. Because they're the one who made the system to bring Pokemon from the past or future. They're the one who put in the override on the AI professor to force them to try and protect that machine. Team Star didn't have any real villains because they were victims initially, and the boss of the team was the one working to dismantle the team to help everyone. So that was fine. AI Professor's not a villain. It was just cool to be not what you would typically expect. And that's one thing that people need to get right about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The Professor in Scarlet and Violet, as you typically have Professor Oak, Professor Birch, is not Turo or Sada. It's Covell.
Yeah.
Because the main point of the Professor in those games is they're the ones who rate your Pokedex and give you your starter.
Yeah.
Those two don't do that.
It was odd having the Professor be so disconnected and not in the story. Literally, it was a robot version.
It's like they'd just been teased, set up, but never actually... Oh, wrong hole. They never actually set up the real person to show up, which was cool.
Yeah.
That it was like a fake out the whole time.
Yeah.
And Pokemon does a lot of fake out villains, but this one felt better than your usual fake out villain. It's like Aether Foundation, kind of saw it coming. It wasn't that obvious. Better done than Marco Cosmo, which just showed up out of nowhere at the end.
Yeah.
Flare, you could call a fake out villain because you meet Lysander early, but nobody expected that. So I guess number one fake out goes to AI Professor. Number two fake out goes to Aether Foundation. Because nothing else has ever been a fake out for villains in Pokemon, right?
You can maybe argue Giovanni. Maybe.
I guess fake out when you find out he's the gym leader too, but...
Yeah.
But when you first encounter Team Rocket, you know they're villains.
Yes, but Giovanni maybe is arguably a fake out. I wouldn't call it a fake out, but I could see the argument.
Okay, team is ready to go. My plan going into this, if I can click the right buttons, we're going to lead Wharf Stash because it has a lowered special attack nature. I think Damien might actually be better for taking out the gym leader's ace. He has the higher level too. You know what? No, I don't want to make any risks. No point in playing risky. Wharf Stash will lead.
If you have to, bring in Damien if we really need it.
Yeah. The next Pokemon he'll bring out will be the Dwebble.
Yep.
We'll go either Alex or Iron Lung, whatever we're feeling in the moment, because both can handle it just fine. And then his ace, Levani, we'll probably do Damien because he's just a higher level.
Yeah.
And if it deals too much damage in one hit, and we don't want to take another one or risk a crit, because it should have Razor Leaf, high crit ratio, Wharf Stash should be uninjured, because I don't expect it to take anything from Swabloon.
All right.
Back up we go.
Let's press the win button.
We have at least 8 lemonades ready to go in case we need to heal. I think we should be able to avoid it. And with this, we will have our 3rd gym badge. I think he gives us Struggle Bug, which I don't want to put on anyone. I don't think. The only one who could learn it is Levani, and it's a physical attacker, so let's go. Good work back there in the sewers. My bug-type Pokemon have been scurrying with excitement to... No one cares. Shut up. Soul's eyes are shut. Shut it. I gotta say, I like that they changed up the gym leaders from Black and White 1 to Black and White 2. But making Roxy the 2nd gym leader and making her ace a Whirlipede made his team worse. Because they're like, well, we can't give him a Whirlipede. It was already on somebody's team. So what do we give to his team? We'll do Swabloon.
Yeah.
That should work. And now he's just got 2 Pokemon of the same line. And I have more distaste than I should for trainers who have, or gym leaders who have 2 Pokemon of the same line on their team. It was pretty common back in Gen 1, Gen 2, because there just were not a lot of Pokemon of each type. Morty's a glaring example of everything on his team is the Gengar line, even though Mischievous was already in the game. And I just think that made his team just a little bit worse, which is unfortunate. We're going to let Alex shine. He's the new member of the team. We're going to let him take on the Dwebble. He was killing a few in the gym earlier, so we'll just stick with that. Let's see, what would I have done? Honestly, even if you can't get him at this point in the game, he should have had, like, Carablast and Shelmet on his team.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which, if I remember correctly, one of those 2 I think we can actually get on our team. It might be both, actually. I don't remember. But those will be potential pickups for later on, which could be quite handy for our team, given the Elite Four has both a Psychic and a Dark leader. So grabbing those could be quite handy. It's always scary playing a Nuzlocke on a game where the champion has like an actual good team.
Yeah.
Because you could go to the champion and just lose.
Yeah.
Some games the champion fight is kind of free, and if you can get there with half a team, you'll be fine. Red and Blue, fighting off against Blue, Gary, whatever you want to call him. He's easy.
Yeah.
If you have a good fighting ground type, a couple of those, Steven's not really that bad. His Metagross is tough, but if you have a good counter for it, you can probably handle his team. Wait, his ace is 24.
You're fine.
I mean, we're fine, but I think you might have been looking at his Black and White team. Oh well.
Yeah, still in the 20s.
Yeah. Hey, look, we clicked the super effective button.
Click the win button.
That's
Let's go.
Crazy how that works. Hey, now we're 24. Wonderful. All right. Well, that is Berg. We clicked Air Cutter.
I do wish the name
Rock Throw.
Berg was saved for an ice gym leader.
Berg.
It's right there.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Maybe there's some pun that I don't understand, other than just his name has the way they spell it. It has bug in it. But could have saved it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the first ice gym leaders we got, I think the first 3 of them were Price,
Yeah.
Candace,
Yeah.
and Bryson.
Yeah.
And all of them are just puns with the name Ice in them,
Yeah.
spelled in different ways. Then Wolfric shows up and it's like, bro, who gave you the right? That is cool as hell. Absolutely slept on gym leader, but that's generally because the X and Y gym leaders are just not as memorable.
True.
I don't know what it is about the batch. It's just, who do you remember? You remember Karina because she gave you the Mega Band.
Yeah.
You can remember the first one, Viola, pretty easily. Grant's there. Ramos is hella forgettable.
Yeah.
Clement at least was in the anime, so you can kind of remember him.
Yeah. They're all pretty. Yeah, they're all.
Olympia, forgettable.
They're all just kinda-
Valerie,
All just
I
kind
guess, was uniquely designed.
Yeah.
All right, let's set up the team for going into the desert, because we actually have a very important boss fight starting off, and it won't be a hard one, but it will be one to pay attention to, because our first fight next time we play is going to be against Chorus.
But that's all next time.
So, if you liked today's episode of the Pokemon Black 2 Marklocke, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, let us know to keep this series going, because we plan to, even if you tell us not to. But the encouragement is always appreciated. And hey, as always, just remember that that's just Slack. We'll see you next time.
You stole my line again.
I want to say it with you.
No, it's mine.